Pablo, te...
Pablo, would you like to continue? Good morning. Thank you to the Ministry and Esteban especially for the invitation, to the Water Authority of the province. It is very interesting to be here and to participate in this workshop and to listen to the ones who know best. I want to make a presentation today to tell you what's the situation of the Water Authority regarding water resources. I will be rather blunt concerning our reality for you to have a real approach of the situation. We've started our administration 1 year ago, and we'll start with a diagnosis of what we found and where we stand today. We obviously all know that, but I show it to you because I wanted to show you the size of the province of Buenos Aires, because we are talking about the size of a country, just like Italy, for instance. We have 53 basins and an enormous diversity of climate and soils and natural resources, and everything else is related to the reality and the complexity and the size of the province at the time when it comes the time of managing it. What's the diagnosis then? First is the absence of the state. It is very remarkable in the water resource management, for instance, sewage and clandestine resources. I have a seat in La Plata and Bahía Blanca. When we hear that the producer has a clandestine channel, as a state, I don't have the power to do anything about it or to know which is the drill that a producer is doing in the province of Buenos Aires. That's the reality of the province today. It's the so the first factor is the absence of state. The province of Buenos Aires still does not have an organization or a structure that is capable of solving the problems regarding water resources. The second one is the lack of knowledge management. We don't have enough information at all levels. The hydrometric network in the province, it has not been working for at least 20 or 15 years, so the information we have is very few. It is not concentrated, and we do not manage based on information. This is another of the big problems of the province of Buenos Aires. Basically, regarding knowledge, I would say that we don't know very well which is the water situation, the water plan, who uses water. We have a big problem of pattern, and in the end, we don't know manage based on such few information. No name, because we don't have a water code that is very it is not very much complied with, and that is the truth. We are very far away from compliance with this legislation, both us, who are the enforcement authority, and the society as a whole. And hydric anarchy, because we can see today with the floods. At the end of the day, everyone does what he can or what he believes is the right thing to do. So I go back to the clandestine channels. When floods happen, we talk about these illegal channels, but it is, even though it is true that there is no control of these illegal channels, there is no capability of doing so, but the producer tries to remove exceeding water from his field, and he says it's his neighbor's fault, and this happens every day. It is our reality. And the last point is a lack of water culture because it's a province who has no water culture. Maybe other provinces such as Mendoza, San Juan, they do have a water culture because of scarcity of this resource. Now we have an opportunity because maybe we will start having water culture due to the excess of water, but because the need causes us to rethink things. I think this is a time of opportunity for our province because we have to agree and we have to work together. And this I sum it up as a rupture or a breaking of the social agreement because in the end there is a lack of trust, an enormous lack of trust from the user to the water enforcement authority, and I see it with producers and with the industry sector, and I'm sure they have their reasons not to trust. But with this lack of trust or mistrust, it is very difficult to move forward in a relationship between the public and the private sector. We have to remove this lack of trust, and maybe from the government, we have to convince, from the state, we have to convince people why we want to do things differently. The province needs undoubtedly to have an integrated management of the water resources, to start planning, to see what's the order of the territory, how do we relate with the other players regarding basins, which are the interests, and so on and so forth. What are we doing then? When we arrived at government, we realized that we had a very big problem with the registry and the authorizations. Water Authority provides the permits for intakes or water surface and other permits and hydraulic possibilities. In 2015, I calculated how many authorizations for extractions we had provided, 28 in 6 years on average. 7 permits for a 7-year average. Obviously, something is not working right. And what we do is a re-engineering of processes to start thinking about doing something simple, transparent. I didn't want the user to have to come to the authority but to do it from home, and we issued this resolution 333. Any user can enter the water authority and start requesting for the permit from home. Not only this, it is transparent. Everyone will know at all times where, what do they have to do, the information they need, the information we will require from them, and the business rules are clear. It is clear why I will give you or not a permit, and I believe that this contributes to the transparency of water management. Why is this important for us? Because it has to do with information. Today we don't know who uses the water resource in Buenos Aires. We are blind in this respect. It is key information. The registration of users is essential. More than 95% of my registry is the industrial sector. By the farming sector, there is no registry of water users. And we work a lot with the Association of Irrigation of La Pampa and the Cedar Association, and this was a very fruitful work. Why? Because we started listening to the user. What do they need? What are they afraid of? Why? And we asked less things from a farmer producer than to an industry, from someone from the industry sector. Why? Because what we want is to start a registry and give it a legal framework to these producers and for the farming producers to know that they can be confident if they have a permit from the authority. This is our aim. We want to help the farming producers to develop themselves, to but we also have to know which is the resource, how we will preserve it and take care of it. We are doing a monitoring and early authorization system. Yesterday, the first bid offer from the water authorization took place, where we called for bids for the first map that you see here. This map is what we will start measuring in the province with the monitoring center, which will be in charge of the water monitoring authority. Yesterday we called for bids, weather station, Ramallo, Arrecifes, and Arroyo del Medio. In a month, we issued San Antonio de Areco and Arroyo de la Cruz. You know that we have a loan from the World Bank for El Salado, who will finance the whole mission of El Salado. The mission from Luján will be financed by the CAF, and Reconquista by the International Development Bank. And in the next 2 years, we'll do the fourth stage, that there are 4 basins that we're missing today. The province is very large, but we have to start somewhere, and I believe this is very important. To start measuring is essential to start working and managing properly. Another of our problems, and we heard Coriale earlier, is that we don't know the status of our aquifers, what's the availability we have, how can we make a sustainable use of underground water. So we decided to make a first availability map, an estimate one, because we lack data in the province of Buenos Aires, in order to start planning regarding the use of water resources. By the end of the year, we should have this availability map ready, and the idea is for it to be continuously updated every year with the technical and the scientific sector. I'm sorry, the question was not audible from the booth. We have a royalty in the water authority that is rather bad, with some mistakes and very debated. And we started thinking about the uses and availability, reuse, restitution, and hydric risk as criteria. And we discussed a lot with ARP and ASA in order to work in a royalty or a canon that is useful for the province and the water authority, but for the producers as well. So we reach an agreement, and when we will have a new canon, or it will be stated on the decree law. We talked about this with the governor. Where are we heading, or what are we lacking? We have to make a registry of an updated information regarding users and water of this resource, who is using this resource, to know the exploitable reservoirs. We lack a lot of knowledge regarding underground water in the province of Buenos Aires. This is key. It will be more and more important in time. We have to know the status of aquifers. In the south of the province, in the Rio Colorado, Colorado River, or other rivers which are smaller, almost all our users are from underground water. They reached a sustainable use of water resources, and we have to keep in mind that the body where I work is in charge of making sure that the use of water is sustainable in time. And lastly, I think this is an interesting point. I'm sure that in Nebraska it is very common and it gave very good results. That is to start working with user consortiums. Maybe we have some experience in Argentina with user consortiums, but with surface water. I believe we have to start thinking of user consortiums of groundwater. And I believe this workshop is key, organized by the Agribusiness Ministry, and I thank them for it. Thank you very much.